We are here in New Orleans, gearing you up for Kansas and North Carolina for all the marbles. The road does end tonight in college hoops, and we're with you here on the Field of 68 pregame. We'll be with you postgame as well. I'm John Fanta. He is Jeff Goodman. He's Coach T.O. Terence Oglesby. He's Randolph Childress, and he is Robert Douster. We have sat with each other for 6 consecutive nights. Jesus, I can't believe I've sat next to you for that long. Honestly, I mean, this is the last available night for both of you. You have a 2-week lapse, right?
Yeah, there's a 2-week moratorium that he's not allowed to call me.
What's funny is the one that I'm the one that put that in. That's my rule.
Stole your line.
That's my rule.
I got the email this morning. So.
Okay. As you think about this national championship game, RC, what is the thing that intrigues you the very most heading into this game?
Armando Bacot's health. He didn't look great yesterday. I don't know. I mean, we expect him to be sore, so we don't know if it's just the next day. But let's be honest, if he's anything less than, he doesn't have to be 100%. But if he's 70%, then that's a tough task for the Tar Heels.
And it goes hand in hand, RC, with, to me, David McCormick, whose confidence has been up and down throughout his career in this season. So they can kind of play off one another here, right? I mean, if Bacot's not 100%, I would expect the first offensive possession of the game from Kansas is going to be what?
They're going to try to get the ball to Big Dave. They got to get the ball to Big Dave. It's either that or one of those backdoor lobs that
yeah, but I feel like tonight you want to set the tone right away with, hey, we're going to go at this dude. We're going to see what.
I mean, imagine what happens if you get a foul first minute or two on Bacot.
They don't have other bigs. Bacot said that to me last night. He's like, I have to play big minutes. We don't have other bigs. I have no choice.
I think, too, a lot of coaches like to script plays. I'd be shocked if they don't know their first 3 plays going in, just simply to test out that foot. I would imagine one, it's going to be a post-up. It's going to be some kind of ball reversal to get him sealing down low. I would assume the second one's going to be a ball screen action to try to get him in some actions that way. Looking to see how he's really moving. Look for that going in. I think Bill Self, he's as creative as anybody. Look for him to see how Bacot's going to be able to move.
The post isn't the thing. I think it's the ball screen defense that concerns me. The foot speed of the guards, that's where all bigs, particularly bigs like that, they're big, they're physical guys, they want to play in the paint. But ball screen defense, that's another animal.
Moving his feet. Yep. Yeah.
Which backcourt do you like more in the game?
North Carolina's. I don't honestly. Over the last 6 weeks, is there a backcourt in the country that you like more than North Carolina?
No, absolutely.
Like we've been raving about R.J. Davis on this show, and Caleb Love's the dude that had 27 in the come from behind win against UCLA, and he had 28 against Duke. He scored. What was it? You know the stat? He didn't score for the first 15
minutes and 31 seconds of the game,
and he scored 28 after. And we've been talking about how R.J. Davis is going to be the guy in college basketball next year. How he's the best point guard in the country. Caleb Love's out here hitting step back through. What did Shimon say? Step back threes.
But that being said, would you say that Remy Martin is the single biggest X factor to this game if he is able to turn it on?
I actually think Christian Brown may be more of an X factor.
Okay.
A guy that nobody's really talking about. And if he can get hot, and again, you're going to put Leaky on Ochai for the most part. So
you're going to need it.
That could allow Christian Brown to get going. I could see him, and he brings emotion to this team. That's the other thing. There's no bigger shit talker than Christian Brown. No. Well, Caleb Love maybe.
I agree to say the guy he's guarding, because that's the matchup, correct?
Yeah, I would think.
That's the matchup.
Right.
And when you look at that,
who gets the better of that matchup?
Who wins that matchup?
Honestly, that's going to be huge.
I mean, that's big.
But I
there's
some big everywhere you look.
Who wins?
There's big matchups all over.
I think Love wins that match. I think he's more difficult to guard. I think Braun, as you want to say, hey, run him off the 3-point line. You got to sit out and guard Love, and can he do that?
I think you got to have a guard to hold Love up for the first few minutes, and you have to let Love figure his way out in the game. He's not a guy that's going to come out lights out from the opening tip. He's better when he can ease his way in the game, feel the rhythm of how things are being played. It's going to come down to, is he going to be good in the second half? Generate some good looks for him early. R.J. Davis has to do that. That's the guy who has to get things done for Carolina, for Caleb Love to get going.
Who do you like more in this particular matchup? Brady Manick or Jalen Wilson?
I don't know if there is a who do I like more. Obviously, Brady
Brady.
Manek's been better offensively. We know that, right? But if he's not making shots, I still worry about
Has
what he can do.
Jalen Wilson ever hit a dagger in somebody's eye
He is not.
and turn
He is
around
not.
to the
It's true.
crowd and said, "Bang, bang, motherfucker"? Has Jalen Wilson ever did that? Brady Manek
swore?
did that.
He did. He
He
swore.
I know,
turned
I'm
around
kidding.
and
I
yelled
heard
to the
it.
entire crowd and said, "Bang, bang, motherfucker."
And all you can do is laugh when you see that because you can't take him
Dude with the big
seriously.
beard like
You
that?
can't take him seriously trash talking. But I love the matchups all over the court in this game.
You can't take him seriously when he dropping 20
I was
a
about
night.
to say, he
He
looks
dropping
out-
20 a
he
night.
looks
You better
out-
take him
I know, but
seriously.
when he
looks-
talks shit,
Hey,
better take
why
him
can't you take him serious? They
funny,
took you're a
It's like
bossy
you.
guy,
It's
Larry
like you
Bird.
talking shit.
I talk a lot of shit, but
I
it's
don't
like
think
Larry
you do.
Larry
You
Bird.
talk shit.
Oh, what are we
Come
talking?
on.
Here's
I
my
never
thing. Here's my thing. I don't understand. I hate this. I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
Glasses.
Don't come out here tonight and say Duke's not in the title game. I'm not as interested. That's a
Well, but the casual fan, you're wrong. Like, we're interested. The college basketball fan is interested. The Good Morning America fans, those people aren't as interested. They're not.
I mean, it is, Coach K is a certain brand. There's a certain cachet
Everybody
that
knows
comes
him.
with that storyline, right?
Well,
There-
let me ask you this, though. If Coach K didn't have his retirement tour, let's take it out. I know that's hard, because he did. Wouldn't Kansas and North Carolina in a national title game draw buzz beyond?
Absolutely, but Coach K had his retirement tour.
Okay.
If the Queen had balls, she'd be the king.
You
Right?
used
Is
it.
that
Yeah,
it?
you're right. Yeah, you used it.
Yeah.
I also think in that, though, we're talking about
Did I say it right?
Duke. Yeah, you did.
You did, but
I also think Duke, when we talk about the NBA power, you know, aside from the K, you know, when you had from the scouting perspective in the league and the draft, that was Duke. And honestly, has there ever been a national championship game where we're missing some of that? Like you heard me use the spades analogy the other day. Like how many pros? You got what? You know, what do you got? I mean, there may be guys that make some rosters.
RC, I might be the only one here that gets the spades
That's
reference
true,
that
that's
you're making
true,
right
that's
now.
true, that's
I
true.
know,
You know.
I know Goodman doesn't. I know Goodman
You
doesn't.
know, but it's you know, you got what, one first round and some possibles. You know, you got one of the possible from an NBA perspective. So from the casual fan, they coming to the table. There's no name to draw the casual.
No coaching. I mean, again, Bill Self's a big name, but he's not K. He's not K.
You got to be a college basketball fan because we got
Right.
two of the all-time great programs here. They may not have the star power that these programs traditionally have, but they're great.
That being said, this could be healthy.
Right.
Because we're in a time of transition with so many of these great programs and great teams. It's good for the casual fan if they are watching, and they are going to be watching. It's good for the casual fan to learn who Hubert Davis is because he's going to be the face of that program for the next 5 to 10 years, at least. At least.
5 to 10.
10,
Stats
however
is- I don't
long,
know.
however
Stats is
long,
going up.
however long he likes to go. Let me correct myself.
What
However
would-
long he likes to go.
what would it mean for Bill Self in terms of where you put him in the conversation? Because you want to have multiple. It's different when you have multiple national championships. That's only a select class. What would this night mean for Bill?
Yeah, I mean, I think then you're putting him in kind of the Roy Williams category to some
certainly.
degree. You know, like that's the class he goes in. No, he's not going in the first tier class. We know that. But what he's done, and again, what Bill Self has done with this group and over the last couple of years, because they had a chance in 2020. If it wasn't scrapped, they had a chance to win the whole thing then. And now you're back there. And oh, by the way, you've been under a cloud, an NCAA investigation for the last 5 years. Now, again, on yourself, right? You did it to yourself, but let's take it for what it is. You're an Adidas program. Adidas doesn't generally have great players anyway. They have about 20% of the top players. Now you're crushed because Adidas is done. I mean, they got a few players, but they're done now with any juice for the most part. So you're not getting help. You got to try to get Nike dudes. Nobody from Nike's helping you, send you to Adidas school. So the players he's got, Ochai, ranked 350th coming out of high school. 300, nobody really wanted him. He told me he was going to visit Oregon State.
And the UMKC, right?
I mean,
Wasn't that his
nobody
first
wanted
offer?
the dude. Like, think about that. He's now the best player on the team. He's saved their ass for the most part. You don't have Ochai, what's Kansas? They're a good team. They're a good team.
Did you guys know that Terence Oglesby is vying to be Ochai Agbaji's agent for a post-basketball career?
Yeah, I would certainly take that.
Because what could he do?
He can shoot the rock.
No. You told me what you
Post-
thought
he
of
said
him.
post-basketball.
You post-basketball. You said something to me in the press conference room the other day when you were looking at him.
Oh, yeah, that dude is beautiful. Like, look at him. He'd certainly be a model. Like that dude is beautiful. Like, hey, look, I'm a married individual. Like, I can recognize when dude's good looking. He's certainly good. Dude, Abercrombie and Fitch, like, whatever.
Is he beautiful?
Yeah, he's good. He's a nice looking sucker too.
We have a tweet that came in that.
Nice looking guy. What do you want me to say? It's not gay. Notice the guy's,
Okay. I posted a
I'm not.
picture.
Yeah.
I posted a picture off the top of the show, and I said we're back together for a 6th consecutive
You're welcome.
night. And,
Hey, you are a very
Anti-Fire
nice looking
Defamation
person.
said,
Doster's
"It's-
ugly.
Goodman's
He could
like
never
your
make money."
ex-brother-in-law who keeps showing up to Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, the Flyers.
All right.
I have a question I
Go
want to
ahead.
pose to the group here.
I got weird.
It did get weird for a minute.
Yeah.
I would make
Called
the
somebody
argument.
beautiful.
Yeah, he is a good looking cat.
It
What do you want me to
was fine.
say?
He didn't
You all
touch my
made
leg
you
underneath
all
the
made it
table, so
weird.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just a compliment.
I tickled the back of his neck, but that was it.
Moving on. I would make the argument that with everything factored in, the point guard situation that they have, David McCormick being inconsistent and banged up and not healthy, developing Oshai and getting him to the point where he goes from being a guy that maybe he can play in the NBA one day to definitive first-team All-American, developing Christian Brown, right? Bringing these guys along, getting this group that doesn't really have the kind of talent we expect out of a Kansas team to the brink of a national title where they're favored by 4 points, right? I would make the argument that this is Bill Self's best ever coaching job.
Without question.
Without question.
I think so.
And
Getting him
he
to
lost his father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this
that's
year,
that's a big part of it too. That puts a lot of mental strain on you. But like if you go back and you look at the different teams that he's had in the past, whether it be the 2009 that they won the 2008. Excuse me.
2008.
That 2008 team,
was
chock
loaded,
full
man.
of pros. Man, they were loaded to the brim. Like this team is not built the same way as that Kansas team was. This team is loaded with 3- and 4-star players. And according to whatever recruiting service, but 3- and 4-star players that he had to develop, he had to mold how they were going to play, and now he's got a bunch of old guys that just know how to play basketball, and they've carried them. And Ochai Agbaji, that was a heck of a find because he had tools. The fact that he slid under the radar, I mean, that's somebody else's fault.
You said the word there, old. Right? 5 years or so, right? Villanova, North Carolina, Virginia, Baylor. Now these 2 teams. You got to go old now. You got to go old. I'm not saying you got to go Mitch Lightfoot old, but you got to go old to be able to compete
Mitch
for a
Lightfoot
national
and Jalen
title.
Coleman Lands would be old enough to sit on this panel right now.
But you know what? Who they're not older than? Robbie Hummel.
yeah, I
when
mean,
he
he was
graduated.
in college
Close.
for 8 years.
I would.
8 years he was in college for.
That's
Go
why,
ahead, RC.
for you guys' point, that's the only reason why I'm not saying his coach of the year or his best coaching job, because that's just the nature of college athletics now in general. Like for everybody, for all these programs, it doesn't matter what the programs are. These programs in the national championship, we talk about all the freshmen. Where we usually have all these freshmen coming in now. We had how many freshmen were truly difference maker this year?
I mean, they were difference makers. They just
I
didn't
mean,
take their
meaning that
teams
they
far.
were the guy.
Paulo.
Freshman-led teams probably had
Paulo.
Paulo. Chet had help, physical help. He didn't, he was
Chet
a really good
was
player.
a piece.
He was a piece. Paulo probably led his group. Jabari, I'd say, but again, he had help too. I mean, there's really not a lot
Jabari's
of
problem is that
freshmen.
he didn't
have
lead.
enough
He
help.
right. There was
He didn't have enough help.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a few guys that didn't lead their
Yeah.
team freshman-wise, and again, nobody's really recruiting freshmen. So if you don't get that elite guy, then you
You'd
got to
rather
get
have
old.
it-
You rather at least every program's that way. You want grown men, and that's what it's going to take.
So you would put that 2008 coaching job ahead of that?
I think it's a lot harder when you have that many NBA guys
How about
to
the
buy
team he
in.
took?
Just like Coach K, you talked about that because
Yeah.
you were saying like K deserving ACC Coach of the Year. People just make the assumption.
I didn't say that.
Well, no,
I didn't say
you
that.
didn't. I tell you
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't. But I was one that didn't shoot down. He deserved votes.
Right.
Because I
Okay, I
understood-
understood that. Yeah,
we
yeah.
talked about he deserved votes because people make the assumption. You got to. It's like coaching in the NBA when you got 4 first-rounders.
But you
of
do
young
that to
kids.
yourself too. You're constructing that roster.
Yep.
You do, but you're taking the talent. It doesn't make it necessarily easy, and you shouldn't
I
be
get it.
penalized. I'm just saying for coaching that talent, and that's just why Duke is still Duke in that aspect of going against the grain. But everyone else, Carolina, we're used to Kansas getting those guys too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the only one I would say might be more impressive was he took a team led by Thomas Robinson
Yes.
and Tyshawn Taylor to the national title game.
That's amazing.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Looking back.
That's
He turned
amazing.
Tyson
okay,
Robinson
looking back,
or Thomas Robinson
They
into
didn't have
what, the
anything
number
else.
5
Thomas,
pick?
It was
Thomas
those
So you're
Robinson,
fighting
Thomas
on this
Robinson
hill.
was a top 40 recruit and a top 5 pick that was a senior that year. Okay, like he did not pan out in the NBA, but let's not pretend that dude wasn't a stud when he was in college for that. Come
but
on,
again,
he was an
look at
All-American.
who they were
He
going
was an
up
All-American, a
against.
top 5
They
pick, and
didn't
a
have a
top
lot
40
around
prospect.
them.
He has feel.
This is one of the
He's got great feel.
older teams that
No,
he's
he's
had.
talking about you. Your lack of feel.
I got great feel.
You have feel. He has great feel. All right, wait.
Debatable.
Speaking of programs and the building of programs, let's just take a quick trip over here. You reported at around 2 o'clock this afternoon, Duke assistant Nolan Smith headed to Louisville to join Kenny Payne on staff. Why did this happen?
This, a little bit of money,
a lot of that.
lot of money. Nolan's father, a lot of people don't know. RC knows this. Obviously,
he
was Derek Smith,
Yep.
who was a great player who died way too early at Louisville. I actually interviewed him when I was about 16 years old.
Really?
Yeah, he
Cool
was like
stuff. That's
the
cool.
nicest guy ever.
Just like his son. I mean,
Yes,
his son's
exactly.
the nicest guy ever.
So the other part is Nolan's super tight with Kenny Payne. So it's amazing, though, you think about it. You're like, well, he played with Shire. He played at Duke. How do you leave Duke? Well, again, more money. Duke wasn't willing to step up and match it. So he's
And he already
gone.
has
And
the
it's
emotional
huge.
connection there. He already has the
It would have
emotional connection
required
there.
the money, and also from an internal inside of Duke internally, I think they didn't want to bump him over some of the guys, veteran
Carroll.
guys that had
Carroll.
been there. Carroll,
Right,
Chris
right.
Carroll being there, and whoever they're going to fill that last spot with.
Well,
you
now
know.
you
Now they
got
got
two.
two.
And now you
Now
got
you got two.
So that's going to shake things up quite a bit. But I
It's
he
a
has
huge
to.
loss.
It's
It is a
big loss.
Yeah.
huge loss.
And a huge
Nolan
gain,
Smith,
right?
The
for
big,
Louisville?
yeah,
Huge, yeah.
Both.
Yeah, I
My
think Nolan's
question
a
is,
stud.
yeah, what does Duke do now? I mean, we're still kind of waiting.
You got to
on
go
some
outside the
announcements.
family.
No, he's not.
You got to
going.
go outside the family. You have to.
There's too many guys out there
Who?
still.
Who's going to go recruit?
Well,
Wojo.
Woj.
Wojo's not working.
No,
he's not doing
He's not coming
this.
back to college.
He's going
won't.
to go with the Jazz.
He's
probably.
in a garage in Colorado. He wants to work for the Jazz. You're right.
I
Same
don't think so.
There's
I don't-
enough guys.
He's in a garage in
You
Chris,
said
he's in. Hold on.
Chris
He's in a
Duhon.
garage
In
in
In Utah.
Colorado, in Utah.
His wife's family's from there, so they
Yeah.
moved out there.
Yeah.
He's
Chris-
been helping
Chris
Quinn
Duhon's a
Snyder with
guy.
stuff.
So he's in a garage?
Where's
I'm more
Duhon?
focused on the garage
garage?
portion.
I'm not sure where
He's
he is now.
counting
Where's
his
Duhon?
dollars in a
Where's
garage
Duhon
in
right now?
Utah.
Wagner. Wagner.
No.
He's at one
Okay.
of those. He's at
I
one of
didn't
those
understand the
NCAA.
reference. I was like,
I
Producer Greg.
I
don't
will-
see
Chris
him
Duhon is
going
right
But he should.
outside the family.
But he should.
Yeah, he should.
He should. Go ahead, bring one more Duke dude in. That's
It's
fine.
his first choice to put his imprints on the program.
Are you
Just say
allowed? That's going to be the question right now. Are you allowed to go outside the family, or is Coach
Well,
K
we're gonna find out.
forcing
We're
you?
gonna find out
Right.
if this is really John Shire's program with what he.
Chris
how he does
Collins,
this
you
stuff.
mentioned it earlier, is a really interesting name here because Chris Collins, obviously in the hot seat, he's the one who recruited Shire to Duke. They're from the same area in Chicago.
What about
It makes all the sense
Good
in the
point.
world.
What about any of those guys that just left last year?
Who?
You know,
Who?
Austin P.
Oh, Nate James. He's a head coach. You're not bringing him back.
Chris Duhan's at Bryant, director
Bryant.
of video scouting.
So he's not even on the road.
So hold on.
You think-
First of all, that you want to talk about the biggest jump of all time, being director of video scouting to being a Duke
Yeah,
assistant.
you're not doing that.
That's like
No,
that's drinking from
you
a
need
fire
somebody
hydrant.
that's already got the connection.
No, but wait a minute.
He's
there
going to
was-
hire one. The only reason I'm saying it because of Nolan, the Nolan situation. He's going to get a vet. I think he needs to get a veteran guy. And that's
course.
one. I don't believe that he's gonna get. He's definitely not bringing two people outside the family.
Well, but hold on a moment.
No chance.
no way that's
Zero.
We got to talk about this for a second because Rob brought up a great point, and I want to hear your thoughts. Like, is this a John Thompson, Georgetown type of thing where he's hovering over the program still, or is this going to be John Shire's program? What's the story here?
I don't think it'll be hovering like Big John, and certainly it doesn't sound like he has any desire to be that. But again, you know, you don't know until it happens, right? You have no idea. Does Kay have enough hobbies, enough interests to stay away?
My thing is like
Yeah.
Kay's leaving, but he's keeping that giant office, and they're keeping John Shire in a closet. Like,
Really?
It's a small
It's
little.
a small little
yeah.
office. He's about to be the
Yeah.
head coach at Duke University,
Yeah.
and they can't get my man a bigger office.
But it's not about him.
I think we overplay the K thing
It's
a
about
little
K,
bit.
right?
I think
Yeah.
I think he's done. He's ready.
Well, then get out of the
Like
office.
what we saw yesterday when we were expecting all this emotion. Sometimes the emotion is just, yo, I'm tired.
I wonder. Listen,
I had enough.
Is there any chance that we didn't see the emotion because he's not 100% sure he's done? Is there
He's done.
any chance?
He's done.
Oh my!
But is there any chance that he was thinking in the back of his mind?
He goes full Tom Brady.
I
Hey,
may not
just so
be
you know,
right.
this
There
is,
you
this is
go.
the
He
man.
goes full Tom Brady.
This is the man. This is the
I'll
man
say
that
this.
broke the news that
Tom
Coach K was
Brady did it.
retiring. He broke the news that Coach K was retiring.
You
What did he
know.
just
Why
win?
can't Coach K do it if Tom Brady did?
No,
he can.
Don't
he can
tease
do
that,
it.
Jeff.
Sure he can.
Don't
Jeff,
off.
don't tease that.
Why? Why
Jeff,
can't
don't
he
do
do it?
that.
This
I'm
is
not saying he's
Shammond
going to.
Williams.
I'm
I'll say
saying
this.
he could. Why can't he if
Maybe
he
he
changes
doesn't
his
want to
mind?
lose to Carolina
If
his
it's
last
not for
time.
the
He wants to.
pandemic, he may have been done. Before, we don't know. And he finally got a team that gave him a legitimate run at winning a national championship, and it was like, hey, it was a better time to do it. He's been sliding toward this for years.
Well, what if he says, hey, Derek Lively's pretty good. Derek Wyatt's pretty good. That's a pretty good shot, too. I'm back.
To me, him retiring, I think that those guys are good, but I don't know if he views
Why
those
couldn't
guys
he
as the
do
same
it?
thing.
But
anytime.
why
He's not
couldn't he
gonna
just
do
say to John Shire, "Hey
This
man,
would be
like
wrong.
I'm gonna come one more.
It'd be wrong.
I want
not
another.
That's not fair.
I got a bigger
was-
I
question.
want another tour. I liked it.
I got
I
a-
liked all the attention. I want
I
some
got a
more
better
What
games.
would be
question.
hilarious
I got a
if
better
like Coach
question
K,
for you
Coach K
guys.
busted through this curtain and goes, "Gotcha," and then
No, wait a minute.
I got a better question for you that's
Okay.
probably that's more realistic that we're not even thinking about. Because of who he is, you think about this move. How much do you think the decision of, again, when Coach K appointed Shire, there's a lot of guys out there who are coaching who felt as though they were on that pedestal a hell of a lot higher
Hell yeah.
than he was that
Yes.
deserved the job. So you get this Tommy Amica situation that comes out, and then that comes out, and then again, remember, he coached the first half. When that article broke, then he didn't coach the second half against Wake. Some people feel as though, hey, he didn't want to answer media questions about that afterwards.
Some people felt that way.
You know, that's the rumor. But having said that,
I haven't heard that rumor.
you hadn't heard that? No, it's just something I read on Twitter. I think I read it on Twitter.
Well, you read a lot on
You
there.
know, I do. But let's be honest. There's a lot of guys that felt as though they were prepared and ready for that job.
The
And then
problem
when
was
he-
none of them. The timing was such that you couldn't give it a Wojo. I always felt that Wojo was going to be the guy.
But Tommy felt as though, obviously, everyone felt like the timing would have. Let's say what we want. None of them would have turned it down. So if it was
Tommy
off the
didn't want it.
JD,
Tommy didn't want it. I'm telling you, he didn't want it.
I don't think he did, but
But he
again,
would've had to
if
take
if it was
Sure.
off, because I think a lot. Let's
How do you say no to him?
You're not saying no. to
Can't
that.
say no.
There's-
But
you're-
I'm
he's
telling
not
you,
saying no, because
all
that's
the guys
one
that I
job
always
you go
talk
with.
to, the one thing they will say is, please, don't get that call. Like, I don't want the
don't
call.
want-
If
I don't
Wojo
want-
didn't
I
go
don't
to
want it.
Marquette and just stayed at Duke,
Yeah, he'd be the head coach, of course.
Yeah, absolutely would.
He was to me, he's been the guy that K wanted
But he
to
failed
give
him.
it to. Yeah, you couldn't do it. He was fired.
All
The
right.
timing was bad.
all right, let's get to a couple more things here before we wrap it up. What is Roy Williams thinking right now?
Oh, I think he's ecstatic. Like you see him in the crowd. That's the coolest part of all this right now for Hubert. Like you got a guy that is. Sometimes you wonder if the Hall of Famer, the icon, wants the next guy. Hey, I want him to do well, but I don't want him to do too well. Roy, it looks like he is so bought into this and having so much fun because Hubert is his guy. He picked him.
But K picked Shire. So when you do that, you better support it and hope it get right. I think he's relieved because he got it right. He knows he got it right, and it didn't start that way.
He
And
was ready, and he was entirely ready.
He was definitely
Like,
ready.
there's
It's
no
just a matter of
regrets.
whether you're getting the opportunity. Look at the difference in the two programs. He gives it to one of his guys, and
Yeah.
no one questions it. They're all here. They're supporting it. And Shire now we're going to see how it is with Shire.
But
I
you're never
have a
gonna,
question
can you
for you guys.
imagine K in the crowd going like this? Yeah, like
He's in a no-win
Like, think
situation.
about it,
No.
but he'll never do it. Like Roy, that's the beauty of watching Roy, right? Like he's so excited for it.
Is
like
Kay
it's
going to
cool.
go to Duke games and like?
That's what I'm saying.
Will he do that?
Yeah, he's going to be hanging out with the Cameron Crazy.
Yeah, he's going to go in the section doing
He's
the
gonna
dance.
be right behind
and
us.
Cascada comes
He doesn't
on.
even- he
His
doesn't-
He's going to sleep in a
every time we
tent. He's going to sleep in a tent.
He already said
before the game.
he already said he didn't know
He's
where
got-
he was going to
it's
sit,
named
so
after
he's
him.
not going.
It's
He
named after
says
him.
where he's going to sit.
He said he doesn't know where he would sit.
You
That
had a
was in a
question
press
for
conference.
us. This
Oh,
is-
I do
you
have
had
a question.
This is the field.
Yeah. Phil.
What's the question? Oh, no.
Roy
I'm worried.
Williams.
Are you worried?
Do you
Yeah.
think he's going to walk into this building right now and he's going to have one of those half Kansas, half North Carolina jerseys on that parents do when they have
It's all about
when,
the feel.
when they have a child on each team that's playing?
No.
No.
Can we
know.
kick you off right now?
That's the first thing I've said in 10 minutes,
Take it.
man. I'm basically kicked
Take
off
it.
already.
I don't know if he's
Hey,
going to go
take
back
his
in
mic
Kansas.
down, baby. Turn it off.
I mean, it's harsh. See, I get it. What do Kansas fans think of Roy?
They hate him.
Hate him.
They hate
He
him.
left for Carolina.
They
Like,
hate
they
him.
hate him. They hate him.
He is hated.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Hated.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is hated.
I didn't know that was the case.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
He's
What did-
despised.
Spies.
And how it went down. How it went down was part of it.
Didn't he go back this year?
Yeah, he was back there.
Was he?
I think he might have been for the Kentucky game.
Yeah, maybe
It
some
was.
people
Might have been for the
forget,
Kentucky
but
game.
obviously
Listen,
it's
he
been a
may
long
go
time.
back, but the general fan, they hate him because he basically said, "Hey, I'm leaving. It's a better job, and I'm going to Carolina,"
You-
and they never forgave him.
You know what's wild about this title game? Kentucky went into Fall Gallon Fieldhouse and beat Kansas by 20.
And
They-
they've been home for a month.
Yeah, and they
feels
beat
like.
who they beat by, and they beat North Carolina by 30, right? And they beat North Carolina
But
by
it
30.
just shows you
It's
we
wild.
make such
yeah.
a big deal about the regular season. And again, Hubert Davis right now, you could take your regular season and shove it you know where. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's
All right.
all about March.
Perception
and
is
April.
reality.
Yeah.
All right,
Perception
who's
is
going to be the
reality.
MOP and who's going to win the game?
Robbie D.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
I think the most outstanding player of the Final Four is going to end up being David McCormick, and I think that Kansas is going to end up winning the game.
He had a pretty good line in the first game, right?
25
Great
and
line.
10.
Yeah.
He
Pretty
won't-
good.
He
Yeah,
won't
I'm
have
sorry.
that
It's
tonight.
Best
brain
ever.
fart. Brain fart. Brain
I
fart.
remember
I
how
don't think he's
dumb-
going to have that tonight. If anything, I think it'll be, it could be Amando. I think the storyline with him, if he's healthy, because their guard play at Carolina is so good, they're just going to get to the rim, they throw it up. He's going. We know he's a double-double. Yeah, 21.
So
he gets so much of that just catching and finishing around the rim. His numbers wise.
Yeah, well, here's my thing. If North Carolina wins, I think it's going to be because Caleb Love has himself a day. And if Caleb Love has himself a day, he's going to be the MOP for the Final Four. My question to you, for both of you guys, you've coached at a high level. You have David McCormick at the 5. You know what's coming from North Carolina offensively. They're putting him in ball screens. How are you guarding that?
You got to be in drops. He can't come up and hedge. If he hedges, he's in foul trouble. If he hedges, I'm driving right off his hip. I'm running right into his hip, forcing you to blow the whistle, put him in foul trouble. And neither team is going to be up that aggressive in their ball screen coverage. I will put my biggest concern is just the depth of it from behind them and then the team in general. Who gets any type of bench production? They put a few bodies out there, but there is neither team has production
Remy,
from their bench.
Remy is the
But
only
I
one.
consider Remy a starter because he comes
That's
in. He's a starter. Him and Love cancel each other out because they're two explosive players that jump off the scouting report. Who's the other guys? We got the two bigs inside. What's the next matchup that you're concerned about? That's where I say it tilts to Carolina because would you take Brady Manick or Wilson? Do you take in that, and then it's R.J. Davis against Braun, right? Like
Here's the
where
one
are
that
you
we're
taking
not
those
talking
matchups?
about. Here's the one that we haven't talked about at all. Harris defensively on R.J. Davis.
I would try to flat show, by the way, to answer your question.
I don't like that.
I think you're in trouble.
Harris
I
could
do.
get exposed.
Yeah, no, Harris is a terrific defender, and what he can do is keep R.J. in front of him. He can. He's so quick. That's the one thing they haven't seen, the speed of these Kansas guards. They haven't seen that.
DeJuan Harris, he's
Terrific defensively.
yeah. So that's going to be a tough matchup there, and I do think that he'll probably find a way to limit what RJ does. But Caleb is the one that I'm really worried. Like RJ Davis is going to go out there. He's going to get his 14 and 4, whatever it ends up being. Right? He'll be fine. Caleb Love is the one that you're worried about. Like. He's the guy where you say, okay, we
put
can
Harris on Love?
lose. We could play great
what I'm
for
thinking.
30 minutes.
He's too big and strong.
Yeah, you could play great for 30 minutes, and Caleb Love can have one 10-minute stretch that wins them the national title. That's the guy that I'm the most worried about. Now, I got another question for
We
you
haven't
guys.
even talked about Ochai.
Yeah,
kinda crazy.
Ochai against Leaky Black. I don't think we're going to see very much from Ochai.
Really?
Really? Leaky Black ate up. What's his name?
He knows his
Brandon-
role
yeah.
and he locks into that. He'll take pride. Well, there won't be unless it's in transition. He won't get open looks.
But if that's the case, if we don't see much from Ochai Agbaji, North Carolina's winning this game.
Yeah, I changed my mind. I'm going with North Carolina. I
Wait a
talked
minute.
myself into
But
it. I
you
just
changed your mind.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I changed my mind.
Here's
No
my
feel.
thing.
No feel.
I mean, absolutely no feel.
Yeah.
Wait,
Here's my here.
I picked Kansas on a radio call earlier today. So it's
Oh.
cover all your bases.
Flip-flopper.
I don't
gotta
here's
flip-flop.
Hey,
my
he started the way he
official-
finished this year. That's
my
for sure.
official, official locked-in pick.
come
I'm
on.
Did you do
changing
this-
to North Carolina.
Didn't
Yeah,
you do
I
this
talked
in the
myself
Champions
into it.
Classic too?
Well, the
Yes.
Champions Classic, I was just so tired.
He
I
had
had
all
no
four
idea.
teams.
We went
He
like
had all four
seven.
teams.
We went 7 hours straight. I picked all 4 teams. I picked the over and under. In both
Can we go to the
games.
ball screen for a second?
I was going to say the same
Yeah.
thing.
Can we go back to the ball screen for a second? If I were Kansas, I would mix up coverages.
They will.
Especially in the first half, you might be able to switch a little bit. I would be scared to death to do that. Absolutely scared to death to do that. But just for the sake of mixing it up, I would do that. Second half, I'd probably flat show just to get the ball out of Caleb Love's
tell me,
hands.
Explain what a flat show is.
So they would go up. They would basically David
the level of the
McCormick would be at the level of the screen. He would be at the level, and Caleb Love would come off, and he would just stay with him until the guard could get back in front. And the reason I'm saying that is you have 2 people converging on the ball. You force him to get rid of it.
And tag off league.
And you tag off the backside of everything, where we're behind the ball. Is that a good way to explain that? It's kind of hard for me to say. So you tag off behind the ball, and then you scramble. But you got to get the ball out of Caleb Love's hands in the second half because he's the guy that's looking to score and make tough shots. So you need to
Basically,
leave
it's a
guys
soft-
with
it's
him.
a soft double to make sure that guy is not the one.
That's
that beats
exactly
you.
right. A soft double until the guard gets back in front. I would do that in the second half because you cannot let him get any kind of room when switching.
Here's one for you. I do think that they're going to do some switching. You predicted what you think the first 2 plays are going to end up being.
No.
They're going to bring KJ Adams in off the bench,
No.
and they're going to give him 10 to 15 minutes, and they're going to switch every
That's
time
a
they
good
bring
one.
him in.
Really?
Yeah.
I like
He's
KJ
gonna play
Adams.
that much?
I think he's going to play like
They're-
that. I think that they're going to do it specifically defensively to try to get him out, and they're going to hope that when they switch into a matchup
I'd be surprised.
on Armando Baycott,
I don't know.
that they're going to be able to get that to make that
You
switch
say
work.
no.
They're going to ice the ball screen.
But
Because
they
you got-
never set aside ball
you-
screen.
you-
It's always
Yeah,
in the
it's
middle
always-
of the
It's
floor.
always the middle
Well,
ball screen.
that's when they run into the game late plays, but they'll run stuff on the
That's
side
true,
when they
yeah.
get it. On the sides, they're going to ice. You can't do anything in the front. The problem you have when you hedge it
Tell
or you
people
flatten the
real
middle,
quick what icing is.
just pinning the ball on the side of the floor. You're going to have the big drop stay below his man in the ball. The guard is essentially, I'm trying to pin T.O. to the sideline. But the biggest thing is your responsibility as my big is to stay at the level of that big. He cannot get behind you
Yeah.
on the side. The problem you have, and that's why everyone runs the middle ball screen, is because all that stuff's out of the window. You either going to switch or play off. And that's a
Oh
major
my.
problem. You get Armando behind you on the back end, and all you got to do is get the ball to the glass, and then it changes.
All right, we have a Twitter, Field of 68 chat, and Twitter has taken on a new life.
Uh-oh.
So they're buying your theory about K.
Wonderful.
And there's,
Let's let this explode
Here
off
we
the
go.
page.
So they're,
All I'll say is,
they're saying Nolan Smith left so that John could head back down. Mike Krzyzewski takes over as head coach again.
all I'll say is, there have been rumblings. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
No.
there have been rumblings.
Real?
There have been.
This is
There have
nonsense.
been rumblings.
This is
This
absolute
is can't be
nonsense.
true.
I'm not saying
Listen,
again. I'm
if
not
this
giving any
happens, I'm
credibility to it.
I'm not giving any credibility to
There
it.
are
I'm just going
rumblings.
to keep
Randolph,
on saying.
Shaman fired you yesterday. It's too late.
It's too late.
Shaman,
I'm
what's your message for Shaman Williams before we go? I mean, you have to
He was
say
electric.
something to him.
He was electric.
He was an absolute
He was
electric factory.
Which,
He's gonna bum rush us on press
Yeah,
row.
I mean, what will happen
The champ is here.
if they
champ is
win? I'm pretty sure Shaman's going to try to cut down a net. He's going to try to climb the damn ladder.
If Carolina wins this,
Shaman.
I'm changing my flight. I'm no longer going back to North Carolina tomorrow. I'm going to go straight to the Augusta or something. And
Hey, we'll take you.
beg for a ticket.
We'll take you in South
I'll beg for a
Carolina.
ticket. Yeah, I'll come
We'll
up
take
stay
you
with
in South-
or something.
you got it.
Your
You-
mom
you'll
was
take
can't
great.
go back?
She was great.
Yeah.
Her family was great. I'll come stay.
There you go.
you won't-
I will say this: their fans are a little better than Duke's. Now the
To
Duke
deal with?
fan to deal with.
The wine and cheese? You like the wine and
Well,
cheese?
yeah,
Okay,
it's a
well,
little more relaxed. It's
it
a
is,
little
it
bit
is.
Duke fans have had a hard time walking down the streets of New Orleans because
Yeah,
their
they live-
noses
yeah.
are so freaking high. They're going.
well, they shouldn't be high right now.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
All right, I think North Carolina. I'm doubling down. I was the only one who picked North Carolina on Saturday.
You're with us there now.
Me and you.
I'm
Neither one of you have any feel.
I'm going Kansas.
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going
If
Kansas. I'm going
Remember
Kansas.
that.
Armando is healthy, if we notice
You
that
heard
he's
that.
no longer healthy,
Kansas Christian
Kansas.
Brown,
No.
most outstanding player tonight.
No.
Kansas.
North Carolina,
Kansas.
Caleb Love.
Kansas. David McCormick,
What's
most
more
outstanding
ridiculous?
player.
What's
All
more
right, negative
ridiculous,
news.
Christian Brown, MOP, or the guy he's got coming off the bench to play 15 minutes?
Watch.
Who's your guy?
KJ Adams.
Hey, first of all, that dude can
10
defend.
to 15
Yeah,
minutes.
he can defend his butt off.
That
He's one of the
one
best.
defensive possession.
Who is he gonna
at-
guard?
At the end of the,
Caleb Love,
switch him.
he might kill him.
We're going to switch.
Like just go in there,
the end
5
of
fouls,
Miami.
4
At the end of
minutes.
the first half of Miami, they put him in for
They
one
can't switch all
possession.
5, right? You're saying they're going to switch all 5?
He was.
Yeah, but I'm
really
saying
good.
now we've got him in for
Switch
15
everything.
minutes.
Then I'm putting McCormick in a ball screen, and that's my game plan.
Well, McCormick won't be on the floor is what I'm saying.
So you're going to say
I'm
Adams
saying
is at the
KJ
5.
Adams is in there at the 5. I'm saying they're going to give him 10 minutes, him at the 5, and they switch everything.
Then they're going to
And
throw
they
it
just
in
try
the
to,
line.
and they try to let him be
Yeah,
an
right.
electric factor.
Because my question is, who is Brown going to guard?
I can't
Brown
wait.
guarding.
Who's he going to guard?
He's a good
Brown will be
defender.
on-
I mean, Brown- yeah,
Brown,
Chris
they'll probably. I'm assuming they'll put him on Leaky, and then
Leaky.
they'll let
Leaky.
Ochai
To then have
guard,
Ochai.
guard Caleb Love. Is what I'm guessing they'll do.
The teams actually match up really well when you think
They
about
do.
it.
And Wilson's
It is.
guarding
Like player
Manic.
for
All the
player for
matchups
player.
guard
Like,
Manic.
Right,
gonna
they're
guard
not far
Manic.
off.
yeah, if you
I
had,
don't think-
Talent-wise,
think Brown is
who's the
very-
most talented team
Talented?
Yes.
I
If you're-
think Carolina's most talented.
overall? More talented.
Yes.
Can
I think they
Wilson
have the
take
2 best
Manic?
guards. They have the
Off the
2 best
dribble,
ball handlers.
He'll
Ochai's
answer the
the
call.
most
Manic will compete defensively. I think they'll have. He's been.
better
I've been
compete.
impressed with his toughness all year long because everybody's game plan is attacking.
Not all year long. Not all year.
No, but I'm saying all year long that's been a game plan.
Yeah.
And he's
Since
answered,
they
and he's
flipped.
responded.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got hit and he's come back like,
Who
you
you
know
talking
what, Brady Manic.
Oh yeah.
Defensively, every team has been like whoever he's guarding.
yeah.
Go at him.
And he
Go
does
at
I
fine.
want,
And
I,
he
want,
is-
I want both of your takes on this because this was mentioned to me in Philly by someone. When North Carolina turned their season around was when Dawson Garcia left. Brady Manic stepped into the starting lineup, and it gave him ownership over this team.
He didn't have to come out of the game, I thought. I thought it turns into what we talk about with these guys. You say what you want. They were able to make. He didn't. That was considered a 2-man rotation all year long. You go in, we were just tag teaming. When Garcia went out, it's like, look, you're not coming out. Don't look over here. Go play. They started running plays for him to get shots because they realized his ability to score and make shots because teams started switching, and you didn't want to put your 4 on their guards. So then people were trying to hedge and get back to him, and you couldn't do that because he's 6'11" with that release. So how they
They were using him wrong.
yeah. How does schematically how this game's going to turn out? And why I said is we're talking Armando McCormick can go either way, right? You go with the
should
dynamic.
go Mondo, but it may not
Yeah,
tonight.
right. You go dynamic guard play. Remy and Love are 2 explosive guys. When you start talking about the other guys, who do you got? Brady, Manic, and Wilson.
Brady.
I like Brady, but it's so contingent on how R.J. Davis plays.
So that's
so
my
that's
point.
what
So
I'm
the other
thinking.
guard position, who do you have?
Guard position?
Yeah.
RJ.
I would go R.J. over Harris.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So I think those
But
are.
I
what
would
you
go-
have
but
to
I
do
would
is
go
Harris and Leakey because they're both non-shooters.
Right.
So you put them
Make them
together
shoot.
to
Right.
me. They're both good defensive players that aren't shooters.
But there's the difference is, and T.O. noticed, it's a lot easier to guard you when you're just a perimeter 3-point shooting guy. It's harder to guard when guys can beat you off the bounce and they're good off pick and roll.
That's
And
where Ochai's got to be able
And
to put
that's
it on the
why
floor.
I'm saying Ochai is getting. He that's not what he does.
I know.
So it's gonna
Wilson's
be a lot
important for
harder.
that.
Say again.
Wilson's important for that.
For what? In what way?
He can attack.
He does attack.
He attacks the rim.
He does.
He does. He does what he does.
From
Take
like the
Manic off the
mid-post.
dribble.
He-
But I'm going to back up and keep him in front of him. I mean, I'm just speaking of the guards. Like when you talk about the matchup of the guards.
Caleb. I mean, Caleb's a guy. Caleb's a guy.
It's going to come down to honestly,
the
it's
guy.
going to come down to whether or not Caleb Love has a Caleb Love kind of a game.
What's your 1 to 10? 1 to 10. Trust meter. What's your
Caleb Love?
meter on Remy?
On Remy,
6.
6?
Yeah,
4.
6.
5.
Yeah.
You can't go either side. I go 5 too.
I'll say this though, at least he hasn't. He's
Lost.
actually moved the ball, made pretty good decisions for the most part the other night. Didn't do a ton, but didn't try to do a ton. Didn't need to do a ton.
Put him at the 2.
Yeah, just let him
and
score.
let him go.
Right.
Here's the thing too: is teams that like to run don't typically get back very well, and this is a game where if you don't get back, that's where Remy can find holes. So, like, this sporadic scoring, if they get a defensive rebound and kick out, that dude's so freaking fast.
And Baycott's got to go.
That's right.
Like,
that's
that's
right.
the thing. They're gonna run him.
I'm telling you, I
know,
think that
he's
sprained.
gonna
I
have-
think that sprained ankle was worse than I think people are letting on from Carolina's people. I think that ankle
Dr.
is hurting.
Oglesby?
Yeah.
Who is the
people
best
that saw him
medical
come in
expert
here
of
wasn't-
this group?
Didn't say you look great. They
Not
said
me.
he didn't look great.
Okay,
yesterday.
not you. Who would be the best medical expert of these 5? It sure as hell isn't me.
If you're talking about for most surgeries, I'd win that one. But
Do you know-
medical?
T.O.'s actually
3 shoulder, ACL, nose, fingers.
T.O.'s actually delivered a baby horse before.
You did? You
Probably.
delivered
He delivered a baby,
a baby horse?
No,
Big,
I have
big dome, big dome guy, big horse guy.
Just start referring to me as horse guy.
So here's my other question. Do you think, I want to get your thoughts.
T.O.,
think,
big horse guy.
Can we switch out Sean Paul for Dustin?
We have 2.5 minutes left. 2 things.
I did not birth a horse.
One.
It's a good 2.5 minutes.
It is. No, he can come in. Sean, do you want to come in?
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
I'm not
Guster, do you think Guster will be as popular tonight?
No.
You know, and what's
Somebody, actually, maybe I'll go over and try to take the sticker
No,
off.
they
Oh my
changed it. They
gosh.
cut him off. They cut him off.
They
They
got to rip the sticker
take
off.
it off the laptop.
You know what I've done before to Norlander? I don't know if anyone, any of you guys know this.
I do.
In the press room a few years ago, he left his computer open. So he was in there in the press room, and I tweeted out something. What was my tweet? It was basically like, last night, I really had to go bad. I had to drop a deuce.
I bet he.
Oh, yeah.
I bet he.
Yeah,
I bet he
His
was.
boss went in and told him, "Is like, what did you tweet this? What happened?"
I bet. Just the fact that it was Norlander makes
So
it funnier
don't
to
leave
me.
your computers open.
Who do you
Yeah,
sit next
it's
to?
not him.
Who are you seated with this time around? Where'd they put you?
Jerry Palm, me and the Palmer. Yeah, me and the Palmer. Me and the Palmer.
A good bracketologist.
That's a hell of a bracketologist.
Not
All
as
right.
good as our.
No,
let's wrap it with this,
Our
guys. I
bracket
want for each one of you guys. I want a bold prediction for something that happens tonight, Fanta. We're going to you first.
I already gave mine.
What was
Christian
yours?
Brown winning most outstanding player.
Okay, that's bold.
That's
me and
bold.
Dagan. Me and
That's
Dagan
bold.
are together on this one.
I think
That's
Kansas
bold.
wins by 10 plus.
Ooh,
Fairly bold.
blowout.
Yeah, it's
Fairly bold.
blowout.
Okay.
I think Carolina wins comfortably.
Ooh, that's bold.
I think Carolina wins on a Caleb Love 3 at the buzzer.
I was just about to say
6
that.
What'd you
years
say?
to the day. 6 years to the day that Chris Jenkins broke the hearts of Tar Heels. The Tar Heels are on top with a buzzer-beating 3.
There you go.
There's my bold prediction.
There it is.
You're out of them. That was yours.
Yeah, I was going to say Caleb Love wins on a buzzer beater.
Too bad. You're a little slow. A little slow in the draw there.
Brady Manning.
Brady Manick wins on a buzzer beater.
That would be
Brady
nuts.
Manning.
Look at him. He's
How
all
about this? Now,
upset.
how about this?
He's
Michael
so
Michael
upset.
Michael George in
No,
the
he's
crowd.
running to the crowd.
This happens.
yeah.
This happens all the time on our pod.
Yeah.
You steal my stuff.
MJ's coming. How have you ever talked to Jordan?
He rode on his plane with him.
Yeah, I think I talked to him when I was young. I think so.
They got
Like,
a lot of
I
guys
never
here.
really like.
I saw
Lot of
Perkins
guys.
here today. Big Sam Perkins is here. They got a lot
This
of
is
guys here.
big.
My brother was weird. I was at Nike camp, and my brother tried to get on an elevator with MJ, and they closed the door on him. He was 8 years old. He's like, "No, sir." You,
First interview I ever did. James Harden.
They shut the door on it.
he's like, "Sir, Mr. MJ, can I get an autograph?" No. Foonk. Get your ass out the elevator.
So you have North Carolina. You have North Carolina comfortably. I have North Carolina, and you two are on Kansas.
Kansas.
What happens to the losers?
What's the wager?
Yeah, what's the wager?
You got to run down Bourbon Street naked.
That's a terrible wager. You're ending my career. You'd be ending my career.
We left the hot dog suit at.
Yeah, you gotta
no,
run down
we
the-
left
oh,
it
yeah,
at Gordon Beers.
No, I would
Somebody
say
stole Bourbon Street with that
something
thing.
post game. Something by I don't know.
First round.
Yeah.
No, something here. He's saying post game here on the show. Yeah.
No.
How about we take
Run a
some
suicide.
in the chat? Let's take some recommendations.
How about running
Losers.
a suicide
It'll be
across the
to.
court?
They're gonna be
Losers.
celebrating. It'll be mayhem on the
No,
court.
no,
It
like
would be
late
anything.
in the show.
Late night to finish out the show. We'll bring the camera. Losers have to run suicides.
What's the bet?
Dress shoes on right now.
The swan
Yeah.
check.
That's fine too. That'll be
Is
the
that
bet.
it?
What? Hold on.
Why do you want
Hold
these
on.
good
What
dress
is
shoes
the what is the bet now?
The bet is if KU wins,
You got to birth a horse.
we got to run a.
Loser has to birth a horse.
Video.
Oh my gosh. Hey, let's have a hell of a game.
We're out of here. We'll talk to you
Content.
after the game. Enjoy it here and follow us at the Field of 68. Sean Paul did a preview for us. His 3 keys are over there. Retweet it, subscribe. We'll talk to you after.